The best cartoon ever was not that. Thundercats. Yeah, it's not even a cartoon, yeah. Thundercats is the best cartoon ever.
Thundercats are go!
That's right. Thundercats, oh!
So they're going straight to Samara and Jeff out of the rollout
Uh-uh.
on B2?
On B2, it looks that way. No, we got to read on B2. No, it's going to be a high page and everything. Top. We're going to open up with a live picture. For a little bit, and then the rollout to weather.
Right.
Yeah.
So we're not pitching to them now.
I mean, no.
We just say this and they're going straight to them.
Yeah, that's what I.
Okay. Sure.
Hey, Director Bear. Director Bear. Hey, this may be ahead of myself, but B25, B as in boy, does not have a read on it. I mean, I'm sorry, does not have a camera shot. I'm assuming that's a 1-on-3. Minutes to hide your kids and hide your wife. Hide your cousins too, because Southern Freeze is hell. Southern Freeze makes me feel fine.
Let us go. 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18.
Keep here, clapping. Mark, there you go. All right, Mark. Mark. Go. Can you hear it? Second delay.
Am I supposed to be able to hear him? Because I don't hear anybody in my ear.
Did you call phone at 3?
Yeah, I'm on 3. I barely hear anything. It won't slide on, Chris. Try it again. Okay, Chris.
All right, yeah.
Because listen to me, Chris. They're coming straight to me after my SOT. So stay on that Bullitt County, and you're gonna do a slow pull out on me.
Okay.
You get what I'm saying?
They coming straight to you.
Now?
No. I'm saying what you're saying.
Yeah.
Say it again.
So this
Southern Freeze 2014 is upon us. We are working for you tonight with all the information you need as the winter storm hits. Good evening to you. I'm Jennifer Andrews.
And I'm Kevin Holmes. The storm is starting to hit right now in our viewing area and has been battering the southeast all day. Take a look at this video. This is the scene in Alexandria, Louisiana. The same system that dropped this snow on that town is starting to move into our area as we speak.
And in Alabama, the winter storm has moved through, dumping ice and snow all along the state, turning Interstate 65 into a skating rink. Well, the road was such a mess, some people had to get out of their cars to move out of the way.
Road crews in our area are hoping to prevent a similar scene on our streets. We caught up with GDOT crews while they're loading up their trucks with sand and rocks to help combat the ice on our roads.
And check this out. We are watching the weather, taking a live look right now at the Talmadge Bridge as temperatures are dropping and the rain is falling. Well, we expect high surfaces to ice over first, so we, of course, keeping a very close eye on the roads and the bridges to make sure you know all of the conditions if you have to get out.
Our team of storm tracker meteorologists have been tracking this southern freeze for days. Chief Meteorologist Jeff Kirk and Samara Theodore, they joined us now with the latest on this winter storm.
That's right. Thanks a lot. Samara and I have been tracking this, as well as Jonathan. And Samara's going to join me here coming up in a few minutes as well. And we are under that winter storm warning here as we head through tonight and into tomorrow. Mainly looking at freezing rain is going to be the problem. Let's take a look at the temperatures, and we're seeing the temperatures getting close to freezing right now in Beaufort, where it's 33. Notice the northern parts of the area getting closer to freezing, as well as Statesboro. Further south you go, we haven't had a whole lot of rain yet, so that's why temperatures there have not cooled off that much, but that will change this evening as more rain comes in from the west. But mainly along and north of Interstate 16 is where we have been seeing the rain, which has really been cooling things down. And you see the pink coming into Hampton County there. We're starting to see a change over to freezing rain. Again, any ice accumulation will be gradual, mostly on trees and power lines first, and then starting to get on some bridges and overpasses, and then possibly down to roadways later. I also want to show you out here towards Swainsboro. You notice this area of yellow. That's a likely indicator of some sleet mixing in with some of the rain and freezing rain out there. It's going to be making its way closer to Statesboro here in just a bit. As we take a look at some of your headlines coming up for our inland areas west and north, looking at mainly freezing rain developing through midnight, and then a mix of freezing rain and sleet after midnight. Sleet that falls and accumulates even just a little would make driving conditions extremely hazardous. And then as we head past 2 a.m., we're talking about a possibility of a transition to a mix of sleet and snow across areas well inland. Along more the immediate coast, we're looking at rain and freezing rain this evening. It looks like we'll see freezing rain first across South Carolina and Beaufort County, and that'll make its way south into Savannah and point south during the later evening. And then freezing rain and sleet for everybody after midnight. And then a wintry mix when we start the day tomorrow. Maybe a little snow mixed in, but the main thing is going to be the ice. After the ice, as far as any possible snow accumulations, we're looking at well inland. We could see a dusting to an inch for places like Claxton to Springfield, and maybe a little bit more around Sylvania and Hampton, but closer to the coast, well, we could see a few flakes. Snow accumulation is not likely, but ice accumulation is expected, and that's what we are seeing or expecting the dangerous conditions to develop. Plenty more on that coming up in just a bit.
All right, thanks, Jeff. Dozens of schools and universities are closing in the coastal empire and low country due to this southern freeze 2014.
Effortlessly. Well, we have been updating that list by the minute. Boy, it is a long one. Now, here are just a few of the schools on the list. Closed tomorrow are Chatham County, Effingham County, and Bullitt County schools. Those are closed on Wednesday and Thursday. In South Carolina, Beaufort County schools are closed Wednesday. Jasper County schools are closed Wednesday and Thursday. But for a complete list of all of the school closures, be sure to visit our website, WJCL.com. Meantime, South Carolina Governor Nikki Haley has already declared a state of emergency because of the weather. Well, South Carolina is expecting up to 6 inches of snow in some places. The state of emergency puts the National Guard, also the State Operations Center, both on active duty. Well, the Guard has record teams and four-wheel drive vehicles for storm response. Plus, it also activates laws that prevent price gouging.
EMA leaders in Beaufort County are issuing a driving advisory. Motorists there have been told to stay off the road starting right now until Thursday. Emergency leaders say ice and snow may lead to downed trees and power lines. They're expecting widespread power outages across the low country. And get this, all flights at Savannah International Airport have been canceled. The next 48 hours could bring more delays and cancellations as well. We talked with airport officials who tell us the airport is not closed, but all flights again have been canceled. We'll keep you updated throughout the night. The airport in the meantime will be in constant communication with the FAA and airlines and will provide updates via social media.
And there's a huge rush of drivers filling up their gas tank before the southern freeze. And you want to make sure you do that because, well, let's say there's an emergency. That way you can sit in your vehicle and stay warm as you wait for help. Also, make sure your car battery is strong and well connected. And keep an emergency kit inside your car to include jumper cables, flashlights, batteries, clothing, blankets. Also, check the air pressure in your tires because those can lose up to a pound of pressure when the temperature drops.
We heard about the storm coming, and we have a daughter that goes to high school. We drive back and forth. We also felt like, you know, with the food and health conditions that we have doctor's appointments and stuff like that. We didn't want to be in a situation where not having fuel, if it was in case of emergency and we had to evacuate.
And to keep your windshield warm, turn your defroster to the warmest setting, also the highest fan speed. And as the Southern Freeze 2014 hits the area, well, we want to see what you are seeing. Send us your pictures. Head over to WJCL.com and submit your pictures under the Report It tab. You can also tweet them to us at WJCL News, post them on our Facebook page, or email them to us at newsroom@WJCL.com. And of course, we will share your photos online and on the air. And we have in-depth coverage of the Southern Freeze 2014 tonight as we are under a winter storm warning until tomorrow night.
Tonight we have crews across the Low Country and Coastal Empire working for you to keep you safe and informed. We check in with emergency crews and EMA officials and we'll update you on their game plan. Everything from road closures, school closures, power outages, and more.
And public transportation will soon be shutting down due to the hazardous weather conditions. We will have more from CAT leaders and when they expect to resume bus service.
Motorists in South Carolina have been told to stay off the roads, but if you have to get out, Rob Macko was working for you with the do's and don'ts behind the wheel. That's straight ahead on WJCL News at 6.
And now, WJCL News, working for you.
Southern Freeze 2014 underway. You are taking a live look at downtown Savannah and the Talmadge Bridge. Well, the temperatures have really dropped since this morning, and that plummet is not stopping here. But don't worry, we have you covered. We are working for you tonight with everything you need to know, from school closures and public transportation to trash pickup. Good evening to you. I'm Jennifer Andrews.
And I'm Kevin Holmes. Our storm tracker team has been tracking the system for days now. Let's get right to the latest forecast for Southern Freeze 2014.
Hey, Kevin and Jennifer. Yes, Samara and I and Jonathan, we've been tracking this since last week when it looked like a possibility. And it's kind of hard to believe, but it's actually a reality. The winter storm is here. And unfortunately, it's going to get worse as we head through the overnight. We're going to be going through all the details of what we can expect here as we head through the night. Let's take a look at the depth of this system. Look how much of the south is being affected by the storm, all the way from Houston to New Orleans and all the way up into eastern North Carolina and Virginia. So this is not just affecting us, but a lot of folks. As we take a look at your temperatures across the southeast, we can see that many areas are at or below freezing. We've seen freezing rain now in Charleston, and we're getting close to freezing now in Savannah, as well as portions of the Low Country. Temperatures are going to do nothing but just continue to drop as we head through tonight. As far as precipitation goes, we've mainly been seeing some cold rain out there. A few spots had a little sleet mixed in at the onset because of dry air just above the surface. But the better chance of any significant sleet will be later tonight when cold air gets a little bit better entrenched. But as we check out what's happening here north of Interstate 16, we've been seeing some indications of freezing rain developing in Hampton County and also getting into Beaufort County. Beaufort right now is at 33 degrees, and that temperature will continue to drop here in the next hour. I would expect to see a change over there pretty soon. Also, just northwest of Statesboro, notice the heavier precipitation here. There may be some sleet mixed in there, and I expect that this freezing rain line will push southeast pretty quickly over the next couple of hours. In any Freezing rain will be slow to accumulate at first, but as we go through the evening and overnight, we're going to see more and more ice accumulation first on elevated surfaces and then down onto some of the roadways, unfortunately. Now, rain pushing across right now. Again, as we head through the evening, we're going to see more of the pink spreading through. I think more than what this model is showing. I think the pink will extend further south and we'll have freezing rain across basically the entire area as we head past midnight, as temperatures will be below freezing. We've got winter storm warnings in effect all the way down to the Florida border. Now this will continue into daybreak. There may be a transition to snow well inland. As we wake up in the morning, we'll still have a kind of a wintry mix out there, mainly freezing rain, sleet mixed in, and then we'll move off the coast and head down to our south. We're going to have more on what we expect from this winter storm coming up in just a bit.
Thank you, Jeff. Savannah Hilton Head International Airport has canceled all flights for today. The next 48 hours could bring more delays and cancellations as well. Be sure to check with your airline before you head to the airport, and we'll of course keep you updated throughout the night. The airport will be in constant communication with the FAA and airlines and will provide updates via social media. Southern Freeze 2014 affecting transportation on the ground as well. In the next half hour, transit operations will clear the roads. Chatham Area Transit will suspend all services beginning at 6:30 due to the weather. CAT has canceled all bus routes for tomorrow as well. Regular bus service is scheduled to resume Thursday morning. Also into our newsroom, the city of Savannah has suspended all non-essential services tomorrow, and that includes garbage pickup. Dozens of schools and universities are closing in the Coastal Empire and Low Country due to this southern freeze.
They certainly are. We have been updating that list all day long. Now, here are just a few of the schools on the list. Closed tomorrow at Chatham County, Effingham County, and Bullitt County schools. Those are closed on Wednesday and Thursday. Now, in South Carolina, Beaufort County schools are going to be closed on Wednesday. Jasper County schools, those are going to be closed Wednesday and Thursday. For the complete list of all of your school closures, be sure to visit our website, WJCL.com. Meantime, Governor Nikki Haley has declared a state of emergency in South Carolina. It's expecting up to 6 inches of snow in some areas. Well, the state of emergency puts the National Guard, also the State Operations Center, on active duty. The Guard does have record teams, I say, and four-wheel drive vehicles for the storm responses. The laws will also kick in to prevent price gouging during the storm. It will also allow the governor to take whatever steps are needed to protect residents.
EMA leaders in Beaufort County are issuing a driving advisory. Motorists there have been told to stay off the road starting right now until Thursday. Emergency leaders say ice and snow may lead to downed trees and power lines. They're expecting widespread power outages throughout the Low Country.
All right. We're going to be bringing you all kinds of in-depth coverage of the Southern Freeze 2014.
In Bullitt County, emergency management officials are preparing to get hit hard. They just wrapped up a meeting where WJCL's Ashley Lincoln was at, and she joins us now live with the details. Ashley?
Kevin and Jennifer, it's an all hands on deck approach here for Bullitt County's emergency operations. The rain has started to pick up a bit.
Ice is a real threat on our roadways, and it's going to get on power lines, it's going to get on tree limbs, and you could see some power outages. So I'm just encouraging folks to be prepared to hunker down in their residence for at least 48 hours.
The tag.
Tag, start.
And we will be here all night along with Bullitt County emergency officials giving you the latest update on road closures and power outages. They have teams camped out, and they also have Georgia Power Crews camped out at the State Fair, at the Statesboro Fairgrounds. We'll have more details coming up. Ashley Lincoln reporting for WJCL News.
All right, we'll check back with you in just a little bit. Thanks, Ashley. Meantime, in Chatham County, emergency leaders also working with outside agencies. SEMA, they held a number of phone conferences today. Leaders checked in with local, county, and state leaders. They want to clear up any questions about the storm response before it happens. Emergency leaders say they're equipped to handle the storm, but there are things you can't always count on.
What you can't prepare for any more than Georgia Power has done, is the down power lines. You can't prepare for folks that don't have CAT transportation now that have to get to the hospital for dialysis or something like that.
SEMA will continue to staff people throughout the storm and then touch base with the outside agencies again in the morning. Meantime, state transportation workers already busy keeping roads safe during Southern Freeze 2014. The department has already mobilized equipment into our area.
WJCL's Nick Notario was there as crews loaded up trucks with sand and rocks. He continues our team coverage live from Interstate 95 in Savannah. Nick?
Yeah, Kevin, I want to show you what we're looking at right now. This is the parking lot of the Outlet Mall right off of Interstate 95. It's damp, the ground is, but I want to show you this is what the concern is. There's puddles that is built up from rain, and as these temperatures continue to drop, well, those could freeze and form black ice. So I want to show you Interstate 95 right now. Cars are moving. I drove over about a half an hour. There was no real issues. They were moving at a pretty good pace, the speed limit, no problems at all over there. But in case things change, well, Georgia Department of Transportation spent the day getting ready. We were in Bloomingdale with them as crews filled trucks with salt and rocks. The department has 12 snowplows and more than 40 pieces of snow removal equipment. GDOT didn't bring in any extra equipment, well, because leaders say they already had it here in the area. Leaders want to stress safety, which is a big concern. I mean, let's be honest, we don't usually see vehicles spreading salt and rocks on the highway, so they want you to be careful driving near their trucks. And this is something some people we spoke with say they'll take very seriously.
I pay attention and I give people their distance and do the best I can.
You need to give plenty of room. It says 100 feet, but we asked to be very generous and give us 200 feet from these spreaders.
As of right now, no roads in the Chatham County area have been closed, but GDOT crews are watching bridges very closely right now. I got off with GDOT on the phone about 15 minutes ago just to check in to see how everything's going. They say so far no complaints, and they're not out there spreading their rock and their salt right now, but this could change as temperatures continue to drop. Now, if you see any issues at all on the roads, they want you to call in too. The number is 912-201-4500. Of course, we will keep in contact with GDOT throughout the night and bring you the very latest tonight on WJCL News at 10 and 11. For now, reporting live in Savannah, Nick Notario, WJCL News, working for you.
All right, thanks, Nick. And we are working for you to make sure that you have everything that you need in your car during the Southern Freeze. Be sure to fill up on gas. That way, if there's an emergency, you can sit in your vehicle and stay warm as you wait for help. Also, make sure your car battery is strong and well connected. Keep an emergency kit inside your car to include jumper cables, flashlights, batteries, clothing, blankets. Also, check the air pressure in your tires because they can lose up to a pound of pressure when the temperature drops.
We heard about the storm coming, and we have a daughter that goes to high school. We drive back and forth. We also felt like, you know, with the food and health conditions that we have doctor's appointments and stuff like that. We didn't want to be in a situation where not having fuel if it was in case of emergency and we had to evacuate.
And to keep your windshield warm, turn your defroster to the warmest setting and the highest fan speed.
As the Southern Freeze 2014 hits our area, we want to see what you see. Send us your pictures. Head over to WJCL.com and submit your pictures under the Reported tab. You can also tweet them to us at WJCL News, post them on our Facebook page, or email them to us at newsroom@WJCL.com. We'll share your photos online and on air. Ahead on WJCL News at 6, Southern Freeze 2014 has even caught the attention of the Weather Channel. We catch up with their crews and show you how they were met by Southern hospitality.
But first, drivers all across the area advised to stay off the road through Thursday. If you must drive, Rob Macko uncovers the do's and don'ts behind the wheel during this winter weather.
And now, WJCL News, working for you.
As Southern Freeze 2014 sets in, road conditions are expected to worsen later tonight and into tomorrow.
Absolutely, and experts say avoid driving if you can, but if you do have to go out, well, we are working for you tonight. WJCL's Rob Macko live in downtown Savannah near the Talmadge Bridge. He has some advice on what to do behind the wheel. Rob.
Hey, Jennifer and Kevin, you know, I went with a local driving instructor this afternoon, and he said that even though he is more than qualified, he will not be driving in this weather. But he did offer us some helpful advice for those of us who don't have a choice. Winter weather driving isn't something we're used to around here.
I think that would be pretty scary with everybody driving on the roads and stuff, especially because when it rains there's so many wrecks, so I just think it would be really scary.
How do you drive in this kind of stuff?
You can't really, because we're not used to it. It's real difficult. We can't do it.
Pat Peruso is a driving instructor at A to Z Defensive Driving and DUI Academy. He grew up in Pennsylvania, so he's used to it, but he doesn't recommend driving in it.
Of all the weather conditions you have, rain and wind and fog, probably the most severe that you have is ice. No one, no matter how good they are, can drive on ice, period.
He says you can't negotiate turns or stop on ice.
Just take your time, go slow, and if you have to go to snail's pace, if you have to go at all, then go slowly.
If you do have to drive in this stuff, Peruso says it's a good idea to downshift.
If you keep the car in a lower gear and leave it in a lower gear, that's not a bad idea. The transmission will slow the car naturally, and you can keep your feet off the brakes.
And when you're braking, he says it's a good idea to gently press down on the brake pedal. If you're about to slide, Peruso says you should turn your steering wheel in the direction that you want to go, not the direction of the skid.
So if I'm sliding this way, I don't want to go that way. I want to go that way. I simply look where I want to go and turn there.
This advice is nothing new for Kayla Keating, who's originally from Missouri.
Just slow and careful. Just be aware of other drivers too. And stopping is a big problem. Like, just make sure you leave like a lot of distance to stop.
Now, if you have to travel, Peruso says do it in a vehicle that's equipped for this type of weather. He says use a small car that has front-wheel drive or a vehicle with all-wheel drive. But really the bottom line, guys, his advice is don't drive in this stuff if you don't have to. Live in downtown Savannah, Rob Macko, WJCL News, working for you.
Sounds like the best advice is to turn on the electric blanket, not the ignition.
I completely agree.
That's our best friend tonight, isn't it?
It is.
Because the concern is really this precipitation could freeze over on the roads.
Right. We're concerned about the sleet and the freezing rain and the ice more so than actually, a problem of snow. Right now, though, I want to show you the satellite and radar image. Let's go ahead and take a look at that because at this point, you guys, we've got the first ingredient. There goes the precipitation. We're just waiting on the temperatures to drop. And you can also see here, you saw that on the satellite radar, you can see it in the winter storm warning starting in areas like New Orleans, reaching through Pensacola, up towards Savannah, Myrtle Beach, Raleigh, and some areas of Maryland right now. We are still under that winter storm warning. All right, so let's go ahead and break it down. Here's a look at the timeline that we're dealing with. Inland, I'm talking about anything west to I-95 north. We're starting through 12 a.m. We're probably going to see some freezing rain out in that area. Now, as you head between 12 a.m. and 2 a.m., that freezing rain could actually shift over towards sleet. And then as we head into the morning, freezing rain, sleet, and a very question mark there with the snow, but definitely we are going to see winter precipitation. Okay, so let's go ahead and touch on the coastal areas right now through 12 a.m. We're shifting from rain to freezing rain. It's not going to be until 12 a.m. to 6 a.m. where that real threat for sleet really makes an impression. Now, as we embark upon daybreak, there is that slight possibility that we could see snow as well. But again, the primary concern for us is that freezing rain, the sleet, and the ice. Drive carefully and remember your Storm Tracker team, we've got you covered. Back to the desk.
All right, you can track the weather from the palm of your hand. Download our app on your smartphone. That way you can pull up the forecast or look at the interactive radar so you'll know the weather wherever you go. The Red Cross will open several warming shelters across the Low Country. Shelters in Bluffton, Ladies Island, and Walterboro opened at 4, and they'll remain open until Thursday. For a list of warming locations, head over to our website, WJCL.com.
And Chief Meteorologist Jeff Kirk up next with more on Southern Freeze 2014.
Well, temperatures are gradually falling and ice has become more and more of a threat as we head through the evening and the overnight. Once again, as Samara just pointed out, we are under a winter storm warning across our entire area, and that extends all the way south of the Florida border. How often do you see that? An unusual situation, but we're definitely in it. We're starting to see the rain has been coming in this afternoon. It's starting to transition to freezing rain in the northernmost parts of our area. As you head to Beaufort, we're just straddling the 32, 33 degree line right now. So we're going to see more of a transition to freezing rain this evening. We may actually get a little bit of a break in the precipitation at first, but more rain and freezing rain will be moving in. Now let's zoom into Hampton County. Notice the pink is making progress to the south now. It is going to continue to head south into Jasper County as well as we head through the evening, and also over into Screven County. And you see some heavier rain falling right now as you head back to Statesboro and up through Sylvania and Millen. There's even some yellow showing up here, and that a lot of times is an indication that some sleet may be mixing in. But I would expect in the next couple of hours they're going to start to see more in the way of freezing rain out here, as that heavier rain will cause the temperatures to drop to the critical temperatures, 32 and below, here shortly. Now, temperatures, let's take a look at that closer right now. Notice southern areas still got some 40 and above readings because we haven't seen much rain yet. But Baxley, Jessup, Darien, you're going to cool off quickly once any rain arrives. But where we've already seen the rain, we're getting close to 32 right now in Statesboro. So again, we're going to start to see freezing rain there very soon. Again, we're right near freezing in Beaufort, and these temperatures are going to continue to drop from north to south as we head through the early and mid-evening. Again, this is mainly an ice event for us. As far as the chance of snow, as the changeover may happen late tonight far inland, we could see up to an inch possibly in Springfield, Claxton, and Vidalia, maybe even slightly more up around Sylvania and Hampton, but closer to the coast, while we could see a few flakes. Accumulation looks unlikely. And the main snow accumulation is going to be well off to our north from Columbia up through eastern North Carolina, where some folks could see up to a foot of snow out of the system. But again, for us, the primary impact is going to continue to be the ice that we've been talking about that will first accumulate on elevated surfaces, bridges, trees, power lines. We can see power outages later tonight. And then, especially if we have sleet, areas that see sleet later tonight, that would make roads very hazardous. So again, it's just best advice not to travel tonight if you don't have to. Now let's take a look at your 7-day forecast here. Tomorrow we're not likely to get above freezing because it's going to stay cloudy throughout the entire day. And then tomorrow night we're down to 24. So any ice that's out there that does not melt tomorrow will easily refreeze tomorrow night. But then Thursday, everything will melt as we see sunshine and temperatures get up into the 40s. And then after that, much warmer as we head through the weekend. We'll look forward to 70 for your high on Saturday.
Come on, Saturday.
I know.
Wow, 70 degrees. This is almost surreal. All right, well, there's also been a huge rush of people stocking up on groceries before southern freeze hits.
Mainly non-perishable items, food items like canned soups and vegetables. They typically last longer, especially during power outages. WJCL's Chelsea McDonald is working for you with more on how to prepare for this winter storm. Chelsea?
Kevin and Jennifer, there are long lines of shoppers buying necessities like milk, bread, and water. A water supply is most important because extreme cold can cause water pipes in your home to freeze and sometimes break. You need a plan as if you don't have electricity and heat. So stock up on some canned, non-cooking foods like breads, crackers, and dried fruits. Also, if you get canned foods, don't forget a non-electric can opener. And what about prescription drugs and medications? Just like food, it's wise to have enough to last you a few days. Also, battery-powered lamps or lanterns are necessary too.
You always have to stock up and have plenty of batteries and flashlights and water, food.
I want to make sure that we have enough food in the house and supplies, batteries, and that sort of thing, so we won't have to worry about trying to come out tomorrow at all.
If you are without power, keep your refrigerator doors closed as well and don't open it too many times. And also, don't forget some cat litter or a bag of sand to add traction to your steps and porches because we don't want any slipping or falling, Kevin and Jennifer.
Not at all.
Good advice with the kitty litter.
Absolutely.
And pack a Debbie cake for good measure.
How about so?
All right, thanks, Chelsea.
Still to come on WJCL News at 6.
Well, the southern freeze is getting a lot of national attention. We'll explain coming up after the break.
You're watching WJCL News at 6.
All right, the big guy joins us now, and as expected, local sports put on hold the next couple of days.
Yeah, he's kind of changed hats. He's helping us out with the Southern Freeze coverage as well.
That's right, and I tell you what, a lot of eyes on the Coastal Empire and Low Country over the next couple of days. Tuesday afternoon, the Weather Channel rolling into Savannah. Reporter Kate Parker setting up shop at Forsyth Park. Parker and her crew in downtown, keeping the nation updated on the winter weather rolling into the Coastal Empire. The Weather Channel also had crews up the coast in Charleston monitoring the storm. The crews broadcasting through the night as this winter storm gets turned up a notch. Now, there was also some true Southern hospitality during the live reports. A couple of these young ladies right here gave Parker some pralines, which we're known for here in Savannah. And they also shared a story about how they were headed downtown to donate that blanket to someone in need. So again, we got to remember those who are less fortunate tonight. It is going to be cold, so we got to take care of each other, and those young ladies doing their part.
Boy, when you see the Weather Channel come, it's time to go.
That's usually when it's time to, yeah, it's go time.
You're right, it's bad.
Thank you. We'll be right back.
All right, I understand there's some new information into the Weather Center.
Yes, National Weather Service is reporting that we're starting to get some freezing rain reports out of portions of Beaufort and Jasper counties, especially mainly the northern and central part, as temperatures are just now getting down to the freezing mark. No real reports of any actual icing yet, but we're going to start to see more icing occurring on some of the elevated surfaces, and I do expect that freezing rain line will continue to work its way south. As we check out your radar here, we can see what's happening. But keep in mind, the radar is not always totally accurate. Ground truth tells you more, but you can see the pink is making its way gradually south. And again, there is some freezing rain starting now in Beaufort and Jasper, as well as Hampton counties.
All right, we'll keep an eye on that.
A lot of updates and closures. Be sure to check out our website.
All right, we'll see you later.
Have a good night.